Okay, so let's find a comfortable seat and sit up straight and tall. And with your seat, make sure that you are in a place where your body feels especially supported, where you have the ability to rock a little bit on your pelvis, that you can feel kind of moving a little bit and find just the right spot for where you want your body to be resting upon the pedestal of your pelvis. And experiment all you want. You can swirl around. You don't have to be sitting cross-legged. You can sit in Virasana. You can even stand. You can even lie down if you want, or in a chair, whatever, sitting in a chair, whatever works. So try to have your pelvis feel like it is the pedestal of your spine, that your spine is sturdy and stable because of the support that you feel. And what supports your pelvis? So as you get the angles right, and have enough height underneath you to have comfort in your legs, what is supporting underneath your pelvis? So feel the grounding, feel that sense of rooting, and imagine that this pedestal of the pelvis is sitting in a deeper pedestal of the earth. Allow your legs to soften, melt, and release to the best of your ability. A lot of times we can hold a lot of gripping in our hip flexors or anywhere. Find if you are doing that and let go as best as you can. And then with this deep sense of support, notice your breath. And see if, as your spine creates space, and you might naturally open up your ribs a little bit more as you discover breathing. Notice the breath traveling down into your belly and your pelvic floor. When you inhale, can you have that three-dimensional space feeling that you're not just up, down? Take the pace of your breath to a place where you don't feel short of breath, but long enough where you're slowing down maybe a little bit more than your average breathing might be. With your exhales, feel as though kind of sliding down a waterfall where your shoulders can relax down, your neck and your shoulders can release. You have a sense of surrender as the breath pours out of you. And see if you can let your head land over your pelvis, crown over tail. Ever so slightly draw your ears back, just enough to know that your head really truly is over your pelvis. Awaken the collarbones, let them broaden. Feel your shoulder blades and your arms soften. Place your palms together at your heart. Let's move into an intention. Now, when we place the hands, we often, inherently just bow a little bit, and that's great. But see if you can prevent slumping. See if you can keep the spaciousness that you're creating, the stoutness of your heart, and melt your head, relax your eyes. Offer an intention here for your practice, for your day. Release the hands. Let's find our way onto your back. All right, so as you come to stretch out your body, notice how your breathing might change. What's different here? Maybe your perspective and your mind shifts.
when you're lying down. Okay, then stretch. Maybe a yawn naturally wants to happen like it just did for me. Okay, stretch your arms overhead, reach one side, reach the other side. Enjoy the length of your body. Maybe move your hips so one hip drops down and then one hip comes up, and just feel into the waking of your low back, your side joints, your side bodies, with your arms over your head. Notice the big flare of your rib cage and enjoy the breath traveling. And then come to cactus your arms at back of your hands, resting on or toward the ground. And if you can't rest the back of your hands on the ground, this is quite telling for some tension patterns, some tightness that you have in your shoulders, okay, specifically in your subscapularis, one of your rotator cuff muscles. So just pay attention to where you have, where you land, okay? All right, let's go ahead and bend your knees and just rest here for a moment. 2 feet flat on the ground. Let the back of your head rest on the floor. Take your feet a little wider than your hips, and let's just begin to rock left and right with your knees. And over to one side and then over to another. How's your breath as you twist? We're going to deepen this twisting vibe in just a moment, so just kind of warming the spine. Then we're going to roll right over onto your right side. You can always support underneath your head if you need it, and make everything at right angles. Your knees, your hips are at right angles. Palms are together, arms stretched out from your chest. Inhale, open up to a twist, and then exhale and close your hands back together. Again, opening up. All right, on this third one, we're going to hang out here and stay. Feel wherever your body naturally goes. Now, sometimes you want to keep your knees together, and sometimes you want to let your knees slide apart. So just see what feels better for your body right now. Breathing deeply. Opening up through the ribs, through the chest. And then bring your hand, bring it all the way over to your other hand, and then roll over onto your left side. So coming onto your back and then rolling the other way. You can support under your head if you need to. Knees and hips are at right angles. Palms are together, arms stretched out in front of your chest. Inhale, open up. Exhale, closing your book. Again. One more time, let's stay here now when you get there and just notice how your body feels. Okay, let your head rest, let it get heavy. See if your hand touches the ground. Maybe if your knees are together, your arm isn't coming all the way to the ground. So just see what feels best for your body. Breathe into whatever you can breathe into. Head is heavy. All right, then come back. Palms together, roll back onto your back. Spread out your limbs like a big giant star. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll your ankles and your wrists. Maybe open and close your fists. Just feel those edges of your body while you're stretched out there, moving and opening. And then when your next exhale, bring your knees into your chest. Pick up your head. Again, breathe in, stretch out. And then breathe out, draw in. Relax your head down onto the ground. Grab onto your feet, very, very gentle. You can hold behind your knees if that's preferable for your body. You can rock a little bit, swing from side to side, just letting your back open up a little bit. Feel free to rock and straighten one leg out at a time if you want. Just feeling into a little bit more mobility. Okay. Relax your legs, right knee into your chest. Left leg is long on the ground. Good, big squeeze. Open up the left leg. And then when you're ready, switch sides. Finding your breath. All right, let's go ahead and reach your arms straight up overhead, a long body. And then let's roll over onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. Okay, so start the further warming up of your spine with some cat-cows. So we're arching and we're rounding. We're taking time to feel each little vertebrae as best as we can. Pay attention to all the little muscles that kind of line your spine. And once you've done a few rounds of flexion and extension, feel free to move your spine, your head, your crown, your tail, any way you want to move. So this is your, free choice for your spine, where your spine just gets to find its way into freedom. Doesn't it feel good to loosen all the little nooks and crannies of your spine, depending on what you've done already today or what you will be doing today? It's always a good idea to have an open spine. Breathing well. All right, and then stretch back towards child's pose. Let's walk the hands over to the right side of the mat. Now, as you go here, oftentimes we feel this pose on the outseam of our body, from our pinky finger down our arm into our armpit, down our side rib into our hip. See, of course you're going to feel that, but see if you can feel the stretch open right along your spine. So your spine is curved here, perhaps a little bit, or at least laterally bent. So see if you can open up right along your vertebrae. So feel the top of your sacrum drop down, feel the crown settle, stretch from the base of your skull on that left side all the way down to the left side of your sacrum. Access a little bit deeper into the body instead of just the outside edge of your body. Okay, over to the other side. So you can start this from the outside in, so the obvious sensation is on the outseam of your body. Travel with your breath from the outseam of the body in, feel into your ribs, and then get closer to your spine and just notice, what do you feel? As you breathe, can you feel your ribs and spine and where they attach? Can you open up that place? Okay, come back to center. Again, up onto all fours. Okay. Moving your spine, just releasing. Curl your toes under, and we're going to lift to dog pose. When you feel ready, extending and lengthening up. Okay, let's pedal your feet. Let's get the legs to start opening. Okay, bend your knee, let your calves open, your Achilles, your hamstrings. Then find your way into a big, broad, open space here where we're yielding our wide, spacious feet. Spread out your toes. Feel your hands spread out. Root to rise. Melt the skull. Enjoy your breath. And we're going to walk our feet forward and come into Uttanasana. Bend your knees as much as you need to or want to, so that you have that sense of surrender. Your head can relax, your neck can soften. Inhale for a halfway lift. Spine is growing. Melt again on your exhale. Enjoy your feet. Spread open the bones. Halfway lift again. Extend through your spine. Thigh bones move back. And then melt and fold. Drop your seat. Rise up, coming up to stand. Reaching the arms up to the sky. Lean back a little bit if it feels nice. Cactus, open your arms if it feels good. Just waking up the back line of the body. Reach your arms back up in the air. Imagine you have a pull down bar, like a lat pull down bar, and pull down, but feel not just the sides of your body, but all the muscles along your back. Wake up as you slowly drop your elbows lower and reach the arms back up. Big swan dive forward, relax your neck. Take your feet a little wider than you might ordinarily do. Bend your knees as much as you want. Grab onto your head with the base of your, at the base of your skull with your heel of your hands, and gently tuck your chin toward your chest. All right, release your head, halfway lift. Keep your feet wide or bring them back to neutral. And exhale and fold. Step your left foot back, foot comes forward, lunging, open the chest. Let's place your back knee on the ground for a moment. Just feel into the hip flexors, open them up. Finding breath here. Take a little twist while we're here. Your back foot can curl under or toes can lay flat. We're going to rise up, bring your right arm or left arm up in the air, and then we're going to cross your forearm over or even your elbow to the outer knee. You decide. Open chest. Feel the hip flexor open, lift your heart, collarbones wide. Feel the grounding of your front foot. Unwind that. Come back, lift your knee up off the ground, and let's start to move. Bending and straightening the front knee. While we're here today, if your body allows this, so you just go where you can, but if your body allows, lift your toes and tuck your chin toward your chest as you straighten your leg, and then rebend. And sometimes a little extra height on higher blocks. If you're on middle blocks, you can try them higher. And if that's not available for whatever reason, your body just doesn't go that deeply, that's okay. But if you can get that full back line stretch, try it. And then find your way into a lunge. Okay, ground, take a moment to let your legs settle, to feel your roots, to get your balance. And then as you're ready, come on up, bringing the arms to the sky or anywhere that serves you. Open things up. Find your breath. Relax the base of your skull. Feel the, racetrack from the base of your skull down to your spine, that little waterfall downward. And then as you're ready, twisting to the side here. See if you can do this from the breath, from the obliques, from the muscles along your spine. So there's just your shoulders. Inhale, back up. Hand comes down, back foot comes forward. Hold again, relax and melt. A halfway lift. Let those hamstrings open up, feel your feet. Exhale and relax, knee bends. Step your left foot forward, right foot back. Come to a lunge. Extending through your spine, place your back knee onto the ground. Either lay your toes down or keep them curled, whatever feels best. Just enjoy the hip stretching here. Find your way into your good, beautiful breathing. Okay, come on up. Okay, we're finding a twist. This time, our right arm lifts up, cross it over, either elbow to the outer knee or forearm on your knee. Find your twisting. Hug to the midline, keep pressing down through your front foot. Feel that support. All right, and find your way back down onto the ground with your hands on blocks. Lift up your back knee, and let's begin to bend and straighten that front knee. So again, when you straighten, lift your toes, tuck your chin, if that's available to you. If it's not, that's okay too. So you just go where your body goes. There's no competition, even with yourself. I think one of the joys of practicing at home is that we don't have the influence of other people. I mean, the influence of other people can be really positive, but a lot of times we can get into that comparison mode. So try your best to just allow yourself to be where you are, not where you were yesterday or 10 years ago or where you will be. Be here, accept here. Okay, ground your legs. Reach your arms upward. Maybe your arms need to be somewhere else. All is well, so just find what's working for your lunge. Integrate. Remember that pedestal. Feel that you have support under your spine. You have support under your pelvis. You have support under your feet. When you feel ready, twisting, try not to let this just be about the shoulders. Twist from your center body. Breathing well. Feel your glutes kick in, press your feet. And then rising back up. Hands come down onto the ground. Back to a dog. Extending and lengthening through the spine here, feeling that sense of openness, spaciousness. Let's come forward into a plank. Find that sense of sturdy, steady groundedness. Root into the index finger mounds as much as the outer hands. Feel your back and your chest. Feel your core. All right, find the ground. Roll the shoulders 2 or 3 times. Just get that mobility there. And inhale. Open up your chest to a cobra pose. Keep your elbows bent a bit. Relax. Again. Rising up. And then melting down. Okay. Come up onto all fours. Move your spine about. And then we're going to be on all fours for a little bit here. So if your wrists are unhappy, you can take your forearms on blocks, or you can take your fists on the ground instead of your hands on the ground. So just decide what feels good for your body. Okay. All right, we're going to stretch the left leg straight back behind you. Before you lift your arms, just integrate. Okay, pulse a couple of times. See if you can feel that your glutes, your core, your hamstrings, even the back muscles, everything's sharing, and then bring your right arm out in front of you. Thumb up, feel that integration. Breathing well. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, elbow and knee comes underneath. Inhale, bring it out. Twice more. And last time. Place that hand and knee down onto the ground. Sit back on your heels or come into child's pose. Shake out your wrists. Okay. Finding your breath. We'll find the other side. So first, all fours, ground yourself. When you're ready, your right leg lifts up in the air. Before you lift your hand, pulse your right leg a couple times. Feel into the work. Support with your core. Pubic bone toward navel. Press your left shin into the ground. Feel your hips support you, your back support you. Then as you are ready, stretch your left arm out in front of you. Thumb comes up. Face the ground with your eyes. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, elbow and knee underneath. Inhale, bring it out. Exhale. Draw it in. Keep that center body stable. And as you finish 3, come back to child's pose. Settle your hips again. Maybe rock a little bit, left and right. Roll your wrists a little bit. Then let's come back down onto our belly. Okay. Put your hands underneath your forehead for a moment. And we're just going to practice one leg at a time. So let's lift the left leg. from your glutes, all the way from, your pelvis. So we're not bending the knee. We're keeping the legs straight and lift everything up. Now integrate into the center of your body. And then keep your right hand out in front of you, your left hand underneath your forehead. Lift that right arm and your left leg. Stabilize through your core. Finding breath. So we're not falling into the ground with our body. And then relax and melt. Pick up your feet and windshield wiper your knees. Let your hamstrings relax. Okay, switch sides. So your other hand is underneath your forehead. You can have two underneath there for a moment. We're going to start with the right leg. Lift it up in the air from your glutes, from your core, from your hip. We're not moving with bent knee, we're moving with straight leg. Find the stabilization there and then join your other arm. So now our left arm, right leg. You can keep your head down or your head might naturally lift off your hand. Breathing. Stabilize through your center. All right. And then relax. Pick up your feet and windshield wiper your knees. Okay, roll over onto your back. I'm going to do a couple of bridge poses here. Coming onto your back. Neutral spine. Okay, so before you lift up, feel your feet. Ground the corners of your feet. You can think of it as a tripod or as four corners, whichever feels better. So big toe, pinky toe, and center of heel, or big toe, pinky toe, and inner and outer heel. All right, so as you rise up, we're going to do this in super slow-mo. So when you push into your feet, pay attention to which side of your body responds first. Do you have a tendency to lift one leg up faster or one side of your hip faster than the other? Root and recruit both sides at the same time as you lift your pelvis up. Once you're there, get your shoulders in place. You might want to rock onto the tops of your shoulders a little bit. Keep your neck neutral. Root into the four corners or 3 points of your feet. Okay, now let's turn on your glutes and hamstrings a little bit more by pulling not just your heels back toward your shoulders, ground all four corners of your feet and draw your whole foot back toward both sides, back toward your shoulders. Find your breath. Turn those muscles on. And then release your pelvis back down onto the ground. We're going to do just a little bit of mobility here to see how we tend to want to lift up with our pelvis. So we'll do both directions. So we're going to first lift our right hip up, followed by the left, and then the right hip down, followed by the left. So just, you can feel that you're recruiting the right side before the left side, and then releasing the right side down before the left side. And just feel that sense of asymmetry, that our pelvis can kind of seesaw left and right. Notice how this feels in your pelvis, in your hips, in your legs. Grounding your feet. And relax. Now we're going to go the other direction. Just before we lift, pay attention as we do this to which direction feels more natural to you. So now we're going to lift the left, followed by the right, and then release the left down, followed by the right. And it doesn't mean the right is passive. So press first into your left leg, lift, or left foot, and then into your right foot so that you're using both sides. But you're just originating your movement, firing first through the left. Now, notice if you have both sides feel about the same, or if there's a specific discrepancy on one side or the other. Like in my body, I recruit my right faster than my left. So, or at least in this position. So just notice, you know, if you have a tendency to have a nervous system recruitment pattern that's a little more alive on one side versus the other. And then rest. Just let your pelvis rest down. You can windshield wiper your knees a little bit. Breathing deeply. All right, now we're going to do this in increments. So feet are down onto the ground. We're going to hover so that we're still actually touching the ground, but our full weight is not on the ground. And notice what muscles are recruiting as your pelvis is still down, but you're not fully weighted. Well, how are you holding yourself in this position? Which muscles fire? Right? Can you feel a full range of muscles, or does it feel just like one muscle group? And then relax. Now see if you can fire simultaneously. If you know through that patterning that you found the side that you are faster, see if you can pay attention to your slower side and recruit. You might even try to, you know, make sure you're recruiting with a little pre-recruit before the recruitment, and then lift a little bit higher. We're not going all the way up, just a little bit higher. And notice what muscles are holding you here. It's not like a full bridge, so it feels a little different. You might notice that you're recruiting more with your glutes than other muscles. So just see what you can do to share. Press your feet into the ground. And then lower. And then this last one, we're going to lift up to a full bridge. So recruit evenly. See if you can take the journey together. Two sides of the pelvis moving up at the same time. Rock onto the tops of the shoulders. Get your full position, however that is for you. Round four corners of your feet. Feel the recruitment of your quads and your outer hips and your inner thighs and your glutes and your hamstrings and your back. Breathe deeply and fully. The head is relaxed. And then see if you can just as slowly recruit evenly on the way down. Take the soles of your feet together for a moment, just a moment of the Supta Baddha Konasana. Breathe well. All right, let's roll over onto our side and come up to dog pose. All right, so that's a lot of work in your glutes and hamstrings that we just did. So let's enjoy the sense of opening things up. You can pedal if you want. You can take your legs wide or close or whatever feels good. Breathing deeply. Full exhales. All right, and then lift your right leg up in the air. Pulse that leg a couple of times so you feel the recruitment. Exhale, knee comes forward, plant your foot down. Back heel comes down onto the ground. Virabhadrasana 1. Arms coming up. Feel into the open chest. Press into your back foot. Press that back heel, the whole foot into the ground. Press your front heel into the ground. Feel the extension of your spine. And then release your hands forward. Grab 2 blocks. We're going to come up onto your right foot, half lift, half splits here, extending through your spine. Pulse the leg in the air a couple of times. Then come up onto your tippy toes, reach that leg in the air, descend the heel without descending the hip. See if you can keep that length and space. Big breath here. As you exhale, tuck in, knee behind knee. Relax your chest and chin. Then push slow-mo to straighten your leg back to a standing split. Super slow-mo, coming back into the Jiva squat. Knee tucks next to or behind your other knee. And then push off steadily to lengthen again. Place your foot all the way back. Shorter stance, Parsvottanasana legs. Okay, hands on blocks. Take your front foot out to the side as much as you need to. Feel the hamstring and the glutes stretch here. Draw your femur bone back. Extend the spine. Relax Melt your head a little bit more. And then come all the way up to stand. Okay. Reach the arms upward to the sky. And then bring your hands either to your hips, behind your back. You can hold your sacrum. You can bring your hands together. So however you're comfortable, we're going to tip forward. Okay. Don't go very far. See if you can feel that recruitment. Press your big toe into the ground to counterbalance the work of the back of that leg. Use your core. Now let's not forget you have a back leg. Press your foot into the ground. Extend through your spine. And then come all the way back up to stand. Back foot comes forward. Inhale, lifting arms to the sky. Notice the difference between your two sides. Exhale, chair pose. Okay, so see if you can start to balance things out. Get some weight into the heels. Breathing deep. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, fold forward. Step back to dog pose. Spacious, long spine. Breathing well. Root to rise. Left leg lifting up in the air. Feel what's working in your right leg and your left leg. Pulse your left leg a couple of times. Big breath. And then as you're ready, bring your foot forward, coming into a lunge. Plant the back heel down onto the ground, rising up Virabhadasana 1. Now remember, sometimes Virabhadasana 1 feels better with your arms down at your sides and leaning forward a little bit. Sometimes it feels better with your arms up. You can put your arms out. So find what works for your body. Ground through your feet, opening up through your chest. Connect into the wholeness of that back foot. Connect into the wholeness of your front foot. Okay. Release your hands forward. Step up onto your left leg. Now right leg in the air. Half splits here, extending through your spine. Breathing well. Come up onto your tiptoes. Feel the work. Extend your hip upward, your spine long. Descend the heel down without losing the length and space in your hip joints. As your breath out comes, tuck knee next to or behind your knee, drop your chin. Inhale, press out to half splits. Super slow-mo, drop into that squat, super slow. Feel the work of the back of your leg. Use your core. Straightening on up. I can't remember if we did 2 or 3, so let's just do another one for the heck of it. All right, and then half splits again when you're ready. Step back to a shorter stance. Hands come up on the high height of your block to give you some nice space in your spine. Drop some weight into your feet. Square your hips. Breathing well. Okay, come on up. All the way to stand. You can bring your arms up if you want to begin. And then again, place your hands on your hips, behind your back, palms at your heart, wherever you want to be. Open the chest up. Find the extension of your spine and then tip forward. And you don't have to go very far. You know, this pose does not have to be a downward pose. It can be anywhere that helps you feel that your legs are supporting you. Root into both feet. Feel the fullness of your feet. Breathing deep. And then come back up. Walk your back foot forward. Come into Uttanasana. Soles of the feet together. One more time, a chair pose. Reaching your arms up. Squatting your hips down. Now, just like those bridge poses, do you have a leg? Do you kind of like lean into one leg or lean into the other leg? Where are your tendencies? See if you can drop evenly. If you have a joint that's bothering you, move into a position that that joint feels safe so that you can equalize your strength potential. Root into your feet. right, stand on up. Exhale, float forward, relax your skull. Step back to dog pose. Try to remember to take your foot that you don't usually take back, but share. Try to create even pathways in your body by taking opposite feet back periodically. Find your breath. Enjoy the symmetry. Take your feet wide on the mat so you feel the edges of your toes on the edges of your mat, changing the position of your hamstring stretch. Okay, come forward into a plank. You can put your feet back to a normal hip width distance, finding your breathing. All right, we're gonna come onto your shins for a camel pose. So as you rise up, blocks can be so helpful next to your shins to do this posture. You can keep your hands on your hips if you want to. You can put your hands on the back of your body. Traditionally, you know, people do this with their fingers pointing up, but really you can do this with your hands pointing down if that's a little more neutral for your shoulder, or you can keep your hands on your hips. You can also put your hands on the blocks. So there's lots of ways of doing this pose. If you know that you can get to your heels, you can curl your heels under so that you have a heel to reach to, or you can have the blocks there to reach to, or you can keep your hands on your pelvis. Whatever works for your body. Take a breath, open your chest, spread across your collarbones. Notice if you're compressing in your lumbar spine. See if you can keep that space by lifting your pubic bone toward your belly button and supporting with your core. Lean back to wherever your body wants to be and open your chest. All right, let your head rest in the hammock of your trapezius muscles, breathing deeply. Are your glutes and hamstrings helping? And then let's come out of the posture. Sit back on your heels if it's comfortable. Finding your breath. Resist going into child's pose for a moment. We've got one more back bend to do. Okay. We're going to find our way onto all fours now. Move your spine, swishing your tail back and forth. And then find your way to the ground. Now you might say, no, my back's had enough back bending. And if that's the case, then you get to be done. We have to have a lot of bridges after all, but if you have something a little extra to offer, let's grab your feet. Now, for instance, if you just want to stretch your quad, instead of doing the back bend, you can lay down on your side and stretch one quad and then go to the other side and stretch the other. If you're ready for a back bend, grab onto those feet, take a breath, inhale, lift up, use your glutes and your hamstrings, support with your core. How's your breath? Relax and melt. Hands underneath your head, windshield wiper your knees. If you're still doing that quad stretch, after you do both sides, you can join us. All right, turn over, flip over onto your back. Bring your right knee to your chest. Your left leg can be on the ground or your foot can be on the ground. So your choice. Extend through your spine, just enjoy one knee in. If you have a strap, grab a strap, put it around your foot, and lift that foot straight up in the air. Okay, so just opening up the glutes and the hamstrings that we've done a lot of work with. Melt your shoulders. Now keeping your left toes. So if your left leg is straight, this will be, if your left leg is bent with your foot on the floor, this will be easier to keep your leg straight. Sometimes when our leg is straight, we tend to externally rotate. So make sure your toes are pointing straight up to the sky, your kneecaps straight up to the sky if your leg is straight. If your knee is bent, slide your foot down a little further so your knee is not as close to your chest as it was. And we're going to take the strap into the left hand, cross your right leg over to the left. Make sure you can clear your other thigh. So if your knee's bent, the left knee is bent, you need to clear that. If your left leg is straight, be mindful to have a slight internal rotation of that thigh. This will just open up the SI joints after the back bends. Feel free to press your hand into the heel of your hand into your thigh. Melt your shoulders. Melt your crown. All right, bring your right foot back up. Join your left foot with the right. Drop some weight into your femur bones, a little tiny gap under your low back. And then we'll switch sides. Your left foot in the strap, your right foot can be on the floor or right leg on the ground, whichever works. Opening up the hamstrings and the glutes on this left side. Feel your back release, melt your crown, your head, the base of your skull, melt your shoulders. Fill up your breath, empty your breath. As we're ready to cross the left leg to the right, put your right leg in good position. So if it's straight, toes pointing up, knee pointing up. If it's bent, have it away from your chest enough where you can cross your left leg in front of it. Crossing left leg over, hold the strap with your right hand. Maybe the heel of your left hand can hang out in that hip crease and press away. Stretch through the big toe and the inner heel. Melt your head and shoulders. Keep breathing. Coming back up again. 2 feet come into the strap, extending the spine. You can flex and point your toes here if that feels good to do so. Root your femur bones. Relax. Bring your knees to your chest and rock. All right, right foot on left knee, reverse your pigeon. You can hold on behind your hamstring or the front of your shin, whichever is best. Melt your head and shoulders. Enjoy stretching your glutes in this way. We did a lot of work with your glutes today, so just melt into the stretch. Let your tailbone dip down, sit bones get wide. Fill up your breathing. All right, feel your 2 feet on the ground for a moment before we go to the second side. And then change sides, left foot on right knee. Reach behind your right thigh or the front of your right shin and stretch that left hip. So sometimes it might feel good to have one hand on your left knee, pressing away, one hand on your right knee, pulling forward toward your chest. So just experiment with what is available. Try not to scoot your hips, keep your hips neutral. Heavy head, relax your jaw, your eyes. Melt your neck and shoulders. All right, relax. Put your feet on the ground for a moment. Now you have a couple of choices. So perhaps happy baby pose feels really good. Maybe knees to chest. Maybe you want to rock side to side or do a twist. Maybe you'd rather do some rocking plow. Okay, so whatever works for your body. As we prepare for some rest, now if you're in rocking plow and you want to just drop your knees toward your head, you can do that. Whatever poses are coming to you, let your body finish up your practice the way that you need. So any nurturing of anything that still needs a little support. When you prepare for Shavasana, decide maybe today you'd rather be on your side or on your belly or have a lot of support underneath your knees or no support underneath your knees. So remember that Shavasana is really about finding ease and comfort. So check in with things like joints, check in with your temperature. If you're at all cold, make sure you have a blanket to support your warmth. If you need something to cover your eyes, you can take support for your eyes. And if you get there and you settle a little bit and then you're like, nope, not quite right, then make a different choice. So you might need some more support or some less support. So let your body settle. Once you're in a position that you're okay with, you feel warm, melt what you can.
Start in small bits of movement. Appreciate what you're moving. Further extend into a big stretch, or tuck into a little ball, walk around. Find your way to your side. Use your arms very carefully sit up so that you're nice and gentle with your back. Place your palms together at your heart. Take your time coming into a seated posture and finding your center. Let's offer the gift of our practice. Share your energy. Namaste. All right,